Mind Muscle Hustle podcast with the Strength Emporium. Balance boards, rocker boards, maces, mini sleds, anything you need to get strong from the feet up. We got a 2022 sale going on at thestrengthemporium.com. Use the code MAGIC for 10% off. What's going on, guys?
Not much. Hanging in there. How about you?
What's up?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Just another Friday night. Just got done rolling. Got a fire going here at the house and about to shoot the shit for a little bit.
Feels very romantic.
It is, man. I got the mood lighting going. Got the fire going.
I'm thoroughly impressed.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Jonathan, you got all moved in, huh?
Oh, yeah. Moved in. Getting settled in. And we got all the boxes unpacked, so we're kind of like ahead of the curve on that stuff.
Good. That's what I'm talking about, man. Caleb, how's your week?
It's been wild, man. I'm glad to be back in jiu-jitsu and glad to be back here with you guys.
Yeah, man. So, you were out for the week. Didn't get to do any. Were you quarantined the whole time?
No, I was just being cautious, kind of staying out of public just because of some of the COVID things going on at work.
Yeah.
So
you didn't test positive, though, right?
Nope.
Didn't test.
Never did. Did a lot of tests, too. So.
Caleb is vaxxed and waxed and ready to go.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. Yeah, so, Jonathan, you said you had, what'd you say you had for us tonight?
Well, we have, we're just going to do our normal thing, but I do have a question from the comments that I wanted to address, I guess, before we get started, or we can do it, knock that out right now. So, Kevin, he asked, he would like us to talk about how we would deal with destructive peer groups. He said a lot of people get stuck in a rut because their friends or family don't prioritize their health at all. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to break the cycle, which I think probably, Caleb, you got?
Yeah. I've been guilty of carrying on with destructive friend groups at times because, I like to party and it's not always the healthiest thing to do. So for me, it kind of comes with taking some ownership over, your own agency and deciding what you're going to do, making that a priority and deciding not to let those other people influence you. If they're encouraging you not to do the things that you've told someone like, oh, I'm going to quit drinking or I'm going to do that, I'm going to make this change, and they're encouraging you to stay down where they are, they're definitely not supporting you. So as you may kind of leave them behind when you do that, you're also no longer enabling them, and they can see your growth even if it causes some distance. If they want to come up there where you are, that's great, but you don't have to go back
for
the
sure.
other way.
I do think, though, sometimes when you're in the middle of that, it's actually kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
And then, because I know with a lot of people that I train at the gym, they would have sometimes it's even like your spouse, mm-hmm. but it could be your mother or whatever, but they have a lot of tendencies to try to keep you from making any changes at all. And, when it's your husband or wife or mom or just someone that's really close to you, it's really tough to see what they're doing. And sometimes, I've heard some stories where it's absolutely like full-fledged narcissistic behavior.
Yeah, in the, if you have groups of friends that, maybe are using drugs or drinking too much, that's one thing. But when it's someone that you're really attached to and there's emotional manipulation and there's a lot of that going on, that's incredibly hard to see sometimes, especially if you've been broken down as a person by somebody that's doing that to you. It's hard to get clear vision.
Kind of like a narcissistic person or someone very toxic, very self-centered. And man, the sad thing about that is that sometimes the people that will bring you down the most are the closest to you, and that can really hurt. It can be a vicious cycle, man. I've been in that cycle a couple times myself, and even at the bar, I feel like sometimes I'm like, man, I'm just surrounded by drunk people all the time, dude. And they're like, Zach, you want a shot? Zach, you want a shot? And almost with malintent, trying to break me, because, I don't drink a whole lot, and I'll be like, no, I don't want a shot. No, I'm good. Someone's got to stay sober here, and they're like, oh, come on, Zach, you're just you're so rigid, man. You're so mean. You never take a shot, blah, blah, blah. And they're just trying to get you to drink and be miserable with them.
Yeah. And, you know, there's especially with his question there was how we would deal with it. And it always ends up for me going back to habits. I'm always just going to say that.
I love that.
I mean, it's a little too simplified in a lot of ways, but
no, it's not.
But it is the truth of the matter. And you have to kind of harden up a little bit in a lot of ways. And I have kind of the way I've been handling like my not really engaging with social media and stuff is like this don't argue with fools kind of lifestyle that I try to remember. And every time I think I'm going to say something back to somebody, it's like, nah, I'll just leave it with like, okay, because I'm not going to argue with stuff like that. And if you're dipping into my business and into like, especially trying to slow me down, if you're not set into those habits really well, that's when you're not going to be able to see what's going on.
Agreed, man. Habit stacking is everything. And when your habits are on point, man, you are going to not even have much time for those kind of toxic people.
We also, I mean, we touched on this maybe a couple times already, but talking about that there are a lot of people that are very happy to offer you an exit when you're on the right path.
Oh, everybody's got a distraction for you.
I have fallen for that so many times, whether it's, you know, relationships or like, you know, I'm not drinking, I'm, you know, not doing this. And all of a sudden, you know, just like, oh man, it's been a rough week. Let's go out and do this, go do that. And all of a sudden a couple months goes by and like all of your work has gone out the window and you've got to start all over. So you really got to, you know, how many times do you want to deal with that before you decide to just stay focused? And I ask myself that question all the time because it's still a struggle for me to do that.
I've had so many guys that would start at the gym and start getting in like incredible shape to the point it's like getting impressive, right? Like, man, this guy has gone from just busted to like now he's a stud. And then every single time they get to stud level and then some woman comes along and they start dating and they just throw it out the window as if all that work and all that time and they just quit every single time.
The habits that got you there.
That got you that woman, now you're going to let them go.
That woman, you're going to let them go completely.
And you know this is going to ruin the relationship down the road. You can kind of just sit there and cringe like, oh, gosh. I also have had athletes that so there's always like three things. So like drugs, alcohol, or a woman that ruins people's careers, right?
It's usually a mix of all three.
Well, yeah, that's sometimes, you know, sometimes, but
from my experience.
But I'm actually the saddest story I've ever heard of the guy was just his girlfriend. So, but like this guy, he was on his way to the NFL. Mm-hmm. He's going to the combine. He's been training. And one of the guys who's basically a scout for the lineman sends him to work out with me. He's been going through the training. This guy, he doesn't know it, but he's basically in because all the combine is just like it's like showing a horse. Like it's just to show how awesome, like how good you are. And
you
like
get your bench press and your broad jump and your 40 time and all that.
And the athletes are told that it's important that they reach these goals, but it's really not because the scouts are looking for something a little different. They're just wanting you to go out there and do it so they can watch you.
Right.
So in the middle of the training, he leaves and goes to see his girlfriend out of state.
Oh,
and so I call the guy that sends him, and I was like, "Yo, he left. He'll be back in a week, right?" And I didn't hear from that guy no more. It was like over.
Really? He just left and never came back?
No. He came back, but the scout just quit communicating altogether.
He already knew the story.
Yep, it's over for him, and he didn't know it. But when he took that airplane trip, it was over. So here's the thing, though, right? He went to go. He was appeasing his girlfriend, is what the deal was, because she was kind of like very controlling.
Yeah.
So essentially, just like what we're talking about, she was getting involved in wanting things her way when he was trying to basically go make millions of dollars in the NFL.
Wow.
And so as soon as he left, it was over for him. He didn't know. But anyways, he finally goes to the combine. And I had been telling him, like, we're going to do these leg workouts, and he didn't want to do them. He's like, no, I'm going to go down to Jinx and do some speed work, right? I don't want to do the leg workouts. I was like, man, you are 300. Yeah, I know, right? He's training for that 40 time. And I was like, listen, man, we can work on your launch and all that, but you're 311 pounds. And if you don't get stronger, you're not going to run faster. You're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't listen. He goes out there and run his 40 time and he blows his hamstring. He had a voicemail on his phone with his girlfriend breaking up with him because he is now
God.
not in the NFL.
Oh yeah.
And so this is anyone who's basically like slowing you down. Like to me, that's almost the metaphor. Like this is that's the person who is slowing you down. They will drop you like a rock.
Yeah.
So
as soon as it's convenient.
Yeah. As soon as you're no longer useful to them, because anyone doing that is manipulating in a way that they're not, you know.
I think you also kind of have to look at what's your motivation. So if your motivation for carrying these destructive friends, relationships, habits, whatever, along with you, when you're trying to do something better, it's generally for comfort, right? You're trying to appease yourself. You're trying to comfort yourself and stay in whether it's old habits or, you know, whatever. And ultimately, like, you're just not going to get very far doing that. You're going to get stuck.
Well, yeah. I mean, you just took a step forward to make you're either working on your mental health, your actual physical health or something. And then whenever you let someone push you back, you're literally falling back into the hole. Like, I mean, that's like the hole you were trying to crawl out of for survival. You just let somebody like push you back into it. So you kind of got to fight them. I mean, it's almost life or death in a way.
It's true, man. And it's hard to find good quality people that will be there for you when you need them and will have your best interest in mind. You know, a lot of times you ever have those conversations with people where it's just like, they're just waiting for their turn to talk. They don't really give a shit what you're saying. And man, distancing yourself from those kind of people will be one of the best things you ever do. I mean, you get stuck in a rut, and one of the greatest quotes I've ever heard was, you get stuck in a rut, but the only difference between a rut and a grave is the depth of the hole.
Yeah.
And that hit me like a ton of bricks, you know, because you get stuck in a rut and you just keep rutting through everything, and you got toxic people that are, you know, trying to manipulate you or control you. And you got to be stronger. You got to literally fight through it and fight for yourself, you know?
I think what can be hard sometimes too with certain relationships or friends, habits, whatever, some stuff's easy to see, like up front, like the red flags are glaringly obvious.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, like, no way I'm going out with this chick. This is obvious. This is not going to be a good thing. You know, sometimes it's real sneaky.
Yeah.
And
that's the worst kind.
People are appealing to, things that you like whatever it is. And those red flags start popping up, but you've already made a bunch of excuses in your head why it's okay. And then you start ignoring. Once you ignore one, it's easier to justify ignoring another one, because now you've put this time into this relationship or this habit or these friends, and the red flags keep piling up, but you keep trucking forward.
You know, like a really hard one to see too is when, like you've been doing something, you've had a friend for a long time that has seemingly been like looking out for your best interests and stuff like that. And then the second there's an opportunity for them to take from you, they jump on it.
Yeah.
And that is almost like, I mean, it's clearly a red flag, and it's one that it's easy for me to walk away from that one really quick, but that's one that make you kind of mad.
Do you feel like in those situations that you should have seen it coming?
I don't know, man. Some people can just lie.
People can be very slithery.
They put on a mask, you know, and always wear that mask. But the thing about that is you just got to be willing to walk away immediately. You can't be around that person for one more second.
It's like in Heat. You ever seen that movie?
No.
You ever seen Heat?
No.
He has this saying. He's like, don't ever make an attachment that you can't leave. In 30 seconds, if you got to walk around the corner. Like his whole thing was not being attached to relationships, because if you got to bounce.
Classic
movie. My quote is, "He who cares least never loses."
Hey, that's a real quote right there. I like that, man. Yeah, it can be a challenge, but maybe something we can still touch on here and there. I feel like I can count all my friends on one hand pretty much, you know. I don't have a huge circle of people, and if you're around the toxic friends, you just got to be stronger and distance yourself, and you know, the good people will come to your come to your life, and you know, sometimes you can't even see it, and sometimes the path illuminates as you walk it, you know.
There's another type of person out there too that you got to watch out for, and that's the energy suckers.
The vampires.
Yeah, the vampires. They like, so when I moved to Texas, it's also kind of interesting being away from everybody that you know.
Give you some perspective, huh?
Well, it gives you some distance.
Yeah.
And then what you find out is those people who only talk to you if they're needing something.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily needing like money or anything like that.
No.
They're needing your emotional support.
Yep.
And some people will only talk to you then. And then you got your like select, like super small circle of people are just like, hey man, what's up? You know, I'm doing this. And just conversations, right?
Yeah.
And that's where, you know, like these people are just kind of just generally wanting to talk to you. But then there's those that are just like, hey, I got this problem that I want to mull over with you.
When I moved to California, I really experienced that firsthand. You know, you're 1,200 miles away from your friends and family, and the phone just stops ringing, you know, the text messages just stop. But then, you know, after a while, you know, like you would hit me up, Jonathan, and we'd have good conversations. I'd be like, oh man, like, you know, right at the time when you need someone to talk to, someone good will hit you up. But you do remove a lot of those energy vampires from your life when you just get out of the situation.
Because when you're in it, you just think they're your friends. You know, you just think they're here. And then, well, we're talking about their problems because they're having problems. But when they haven't talked to you in months, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, on the other side of that too, sometimes you meet people and you know right away they're like, this is a legit person.
Yeah.
And that's always good too. There's one of my best friends lives out in California. This guy named Jeremy. I worked with him at a 24-hour fitness in 2003. And the first day of work, he was like, "Oh, you're the new guy." He goes, "Well, the new guys always wash the other guy's car on the first day of work." And I was like,
No,
nah,
bro.
I was like 22, but I'm like, I'm not that
You're
stupid.
smart enough to know better.
And he's like, "Man, I'm gonna kick your ass."
Really?
You know, I mean, he was
To
like,
you?
"Yeah." I mean, he was like tough. Like I was bigger, but you know, he was military guy. Like used to be a pro skateboarder and stuff, and he was just like talking shit. Like he went in the military because he got like in a gang fight or something, and the judge was like, "You got to pick one." You know, like
Okay.
If this story's wrong, Jeremy, I'm sorry, but that's how I remember it. Anyways, he's threatening to kick my ass, and I refused to do it. And so all day long, him and then a couple other guys are threatening to kick my ass. I'm like, all right, like let's go outside after work. It's fine.
Nice.
You know, and then he decided he liked me after that. We've been friends ever since. I've seen him twice since I moved out of California in 2004, but I still talk to him every week on the phone, you know, call him, tell him everything that's going on. Like, and he always gives me legit advice and calls me out on my shit like Jonathan does, you know.
Jonathan's pretty good at that.
So those are the people I like to keep around.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I mean,
I'm too dense for hints. I need the absolute. I need a T-shirt that says I just need the like blunt truth all the time.
I hate with a passion like passive aggressiveness.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
I just don't like. It's like the worst kind of. Well, first of all, even if you're just trying to be easy on people, it's like the worst type of way to like tell someone, "Hey, man, I think you might be making a mistake." But if you say it's too passive aggressive, you're not going to help them change. And then there's the ones that when they're being passive aggressive, they're actually just being like, you know, horrible people. And that's the ones that I really hate that more than anything. I want you to be straight up. Just punch me in the face.
Right.
I was so much. Actually, I'll end up liking that person at the end.
Right. No doubt.
But I'll end up absolutely loathing the person who's like passive aggressive with me.
Yeah. And I think I've had some relationships that have been like that with a passive aggressive partner, and man, that is rough to say the least.
Well, that's like everybody's ex.
Yeah, no doubt. There's a reason why you're not with her now.
You're like, my current wife is usually passive aggressive. I can't stand her. It's a joke, guys. I'm not married.
Oh man. Well, guys, have we been hitting any workouts this week?
Yeah, trained a few people, hit a few workouts. There is something else on the comments here that we need to hit on as well, and that is someone's just wanting to know more information about why and how to train your feet.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually Caleb's sister.
That's pretty interesting.
She got a balance board this week, so she's super amped up, and she's been listening to the podcast, and she wants to know more.
Man, I mean, I would say, I don't know about you, Jonathan, but I would say training the feet, obviously she got the right piece of equipment for that to start with.
You got to start there. It's the foundation.
You have to start with the balance boards, front and back, the big balance board, not the mini boards. I started with just simple taps, man. I started with simple taps back and forth. I started stretching with the balance boards. Mm-hmm. I worked up to, I really wanted the single foot tap, you know, and with, of course, the assist of the wall, you know, so you don't fall over. That probably was the first, and when I would get to where I could do, you know, 100 taps single footed, that's where I was like, okay, well, maybe I can start to throw a tiny little bit of weight. Maybe I can, you know, hold out a mace or something like that. But I think taps back and forth is truly the foundation of getting your feet strong.
Just starting small, like
very small.
You know, if you start out just doing a few reps a day, like you don't have to start out with 100 a day.
No,
that's a bad idea. You will not walk tomorrow.
You work up to that very small steps.
Well, but you quickly, though, your feet and legs in general like kind of recover quickly, so you'll quickly get to 100 reps, but you know, that's just sort of like a standard, not something you want to start with. Here's the thing about your feet, though, is it seems like I have a lot of trouble with people when I'm trying to like get them to understand what I'm really saying with that. Because when I'm talking about training your feet, I'm talking about your foundation, and what people have a hard time with is understanding that's going to affect every single joint in your body from there up.
Yeah.
And so when I'm wanting you to get your feet strong, it's not so that you have strong feet or even strong calves. I mean, that's what everyone thinks, though. It's like, oh, I'm just going to get my calves bigger, or maybe they think they have like pain in their foot or something, right?
Yeah.
And while that is the initial disease that we're dealing with and trying to fix those small calves or whatever, the real thing is once your feet get strong, it's going to change the way that your bones align. And so then your posture is going to change, and it's going to change the way that you walk and the way that you stride. And so you're going to start walking better. You're going to be up on your toes a little bit more. Your hips are going to align differently. Your spine's going to align different. You'll start decompressing your lower back.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be in a better position. So your lower back gets both less pain because of decompression and also stronger.
Yes.
So, and then from there, once your back starts decompressing and gets stronger, the shoulder blades are going to start moving better.
Yeah.
Because your spine's in a better position. Now, once the shoulder blades start moving better, the shoulders are getting stronger, and the shoulders are stronger. It's all the way to your fingertips.
Well, don't you think that like those cues that you taught at the park last week about, you know, twisting almost like when you're throwing a punch as a boxer,
yes.
You know, twisting the foot and twisting off of that. And what is it they say? They say that the real athletes look more like they're like, it's like a spiraling.
Yeah, it's just that stuff is so complicated that if I'm there with you, then I can maybe teach you a few little drills to do, right?
Yeah.
But it's not something to easily talk about.
Yeah, it is really hard to put words to.
But that's the beauty of this equipment. So when Wes was making and designing the stuff, that was the whole thing. Is like, I don't need to have to explain every minute detail of this. What I need you to do is get on the balance board and do it every day.
Yeah.
For a long period of time. And then all of these things will sort of take care of themselves. I mean, yeah, you do have to go through the other exercises. You got to train your whole body.
Yeah.
Because I am talking about your entire body here.
Yeah,
I'm not.
sure.
Your feet just are the foundation. But if you get on the balance board and do the thing, we can quit talking about. We can quit worrying about all the nuance of it. Mm-hmm. Now, let's say if I'm training you and I'm training an athlete, I can speed up that process by going into that and having you do my drills and stuff, right? But you don't need that.
Yeah.
What you need to do is get on the board, spend the time. And so the thing, like you were saying with the single leg taps, I mean, that's a big deal.
It really is hard, man. I mean, it seems so infantile and small, but it's a big deal.
When you're standing on one leg and going back and forth like that, your whole body's involved. That's not just a foot exercise.
Yeah. And I really notice when I try to bring like my hip to a neutral hip and do the taps single footed, like it's a whole, it's it's even harder than it is if you're not at a neutral hip. It becomes a completely different exercise once again.
Yep.
And there's numerous little tweaks like that you can do. But so would you say that the first thing you can do to really help get your feet strong is get on the balance board and start to work your way up to 100 taps slowly?
Yep. Hold on to the wall, body weight, just get in a good position, and 100 taps. That's step. It'd take you a few weeks to get to 100, but that's step one.
And I would say to really focus on the stretch of your calf when you come back.
Yeah. So, definitely. Yeah. And that stretch is a huge thing. And then for people who are wanting to grow their calves to look better, that stretch on the backside is the key, because what it does is whenever you get on the calf raise machine or anything, even the balance board, and you go fast, you're training your Achilles tendon.
Yeah.
But that thing is so strong. We don't need to be training that.
Yeah.
It is unbelievably strong.
Yeah.
So, but if you go very slow, and so on the backside, when your heel touches the ground, if you'll pause for about 1 or 2 seconds, that stretch reflex in the tendon goes away. And so now when you come back up, it's all muscle. And so that's what everybody's missing with their calf training. That's why they can't get their calves big, is because they're not sitting there doing these slow. It's so boring. It'd take you 6 seconds to do one rep.
That's true. It can seem monotonous, and it can also seem like what am I doing? I'm not really making any gains, but trust me, you are.
Oh yeah,
for sure. And and we're just talking about the big balance board front and back. I mean, the mini balance boards side to side, there is a ton of different cues you can do with those things.
Yeah. I mean, those things are actually more complicated. I mean,
They're
big balance board
really
is
complicated.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn there, but the mini balance boards are for your ankles. But your ankles that is a complex machine, and it's pretty neat. The beauty of the mini balance boards is we don't have to really talk about it. You can just get on it, do the reps, stand in that position where they're rotated to the outside, and do exercises, and it'll take care of itself.
Well, and also we will be making instructionals.
Oh yeah. We're working on a Discord app. And we're going to have a Discord community where everyone's going to be able to get on and talk to each other about all this and go into the in-depth stuff. And we're going to be having daily workouts. And what we're actually doing right now is building an exercise library, so that every workout we give you has the exercises that on video that you can watch and kind of go over the form. So you get your daily workout. You can get on there and talk to your friends about the workout and maybe like discussion of technique and things like that. And we also have like recipes, and the other thing is the schedule for where we're going to be for our workouts.
Yeah, I'm really excited about getting the conversation going in the Discord. Is that something we can just send a link out for? Yeah,
for sure. So whenever we get you signed up for it, we're just going to send you the link. It'll prompt you to basically create a Discord account. So you'll have to log in.
Download the app.
Yeah, you just download the app, log in, and then it'll send you to our page, the Strength Emporium.
And there might be a lot of people who don't know what Discord is.
Yeah, it's just an app. Yeah. You can go to your Google Play or Apple Store and download Discord.
It's kind of like a forum app, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's actually it was actually initially designed for gamers, but it's a really good platform so that we can it's a forum, like kind of the old school. Remember when we're so old that we had the
MySpace forums were great places to get.
But the forums were actually pretty cool to talk into, and so
they were, man. Some of the old forums are like, people reverend them as golden. You know what I'm saying? Because there was so much good information put on there, and I mean, anything from weightlifting and bodybuilding forums to like even the old grow forums. There's some legendary things.
That's what I like about the Discord, and that allows us to get on there and talk to each other and have this open, long form discussion like we're doing on the podcast. And that's what I want.
I'm super excited about it. We're going to get the link up and we're going to get talking on there. And I can't wait to hear what people have to say and also watch people make gains.
For sure. Get our success stories going. That's a huge one.
Yeah, that's going to be a big deal.
That's my favorite thing on TikTok, and actually the algorithm knows. Anyone who does like a transformation, every other video of mine is just like people making transformations and stuff, which I think is awesome, man. I mean, that's...
no doubt, man. There's nothing better than to see people overcome. And, I mean, that's the habit stacking that it takes to overcome something like that and have a true transformation. Yeah, I mean that's the building blocks of everything. Whether you're trying to train jiu-jitsu or get out of bartending or whatever you're trying to do.
I mean that's what the algorithm knows, that's who I want to surround myself with, and so like people who are doing anything at all, and that's what this podcast is supposed to be about. We're inviting business owners and people that are doing interesting stuff. Who knows? I don't care what it is. If you're doing anything cool, we want to have you on the podcast so that we can talk to you, because I just want to be around people who are doing something.
Hey man, I totally agree. And what's the best way they can get a hold of us?
I mean, you can email.
The Mind Muscle Hustle face or Instagram.
Mind Muscle Hustle Instagram. You can contact me through the Strength Emporium website.
You can direct message me on Instagram at _subconscious_.
Yeah, we got the Strength Emporium Instagram as well. Just anyway, you can comment on this video and we'll talk to you. But yeah, we have some people lined up to get on here. That's the big thing, is I just want to be around people who are doing something. If you're making like body transformations, if you're making soap in your house and having some success with it, like I just think that I don't care what I don't care what you're doing. I just want to be around people and figure out what that mindset is. Because the more people that and especially, we're also worried about people in Tulsa doing that and helping. That's kind of the mindset here, is like helping the people here in Tulsa get into that position.
Yeah, and grow the community.
It's New Year's right now and everybody's making these resolutions. And so I want to see everyone succeed at that by the end of this. When summer gets here, I hope that you succeed in that. I don't want to hear a bunch of fail stories or, I didn't follow through with it. What I want to hear from everybody is that we followed through.
Hey man, I totally want to hear that. I'm getting excited about the workouts this weekend. Saturday, Sunday at noon, correct?
Yep.
At 41st and Riverside?
41st and Riverside. We'll be over there at the park, kind of to the right of the brick building there.
Are we going to be sledding?
Yeah, we're going to do some sleds. We're going to have the maces out there, a little bit of plank bars. We might even do some dumbbells and stuff like that too, but mostly we're going to drag the sleds up and down and do some standing bench press and stuff like that.
Suggest that people bring gloves.
I mean, if
equipment in the cold,
you do whatever you got to do for the temperature outside.
There you go.
I will not be wearing gloves, Caleb.
I've got some pink mittens.
Oh, I bet you look cute in them too.
I mean, it's supposed to be like the 50s or something. I don't think it's supposed to be too bad.
Yeah,
between
nice.
50 and 30.
That's
tomorrow.
like, well, 50's like my kind of weather. That's nice.
Yeah, you start moving at 50 degrees. You can still get a great sweat going.
Oh yeah, it's shorts and t-shirt weather.
You're a true Oklahoman.
That's a jacket, jean shorts, and flip flops.
Oh yeah,
that's what that is. That's the Oklahoma.
It's big boy weather.
Yeah, a long sleeve with some jorts and some sandals. Dude, I see people walking down the street when it's freezing cold with that same outfit on all the time.
I would wear that to school in 9th grade when it was like 25 degrees. Absolutely.
Shocking.
Yeah. With jean shorts.
Oh, man. All right. We're going to have to stop it right there at Jinko jean shorts. God bless. Strong play.
You didn't wear no Jinkos?
No, dude. Are you kidding me? Did you?
My parents wouldn't buy me any.
My parents wouldn't buy them for me either.
I think
we're not buying you those heathen pants. Are you kidding me?
It was literally something to do with church. Yeah, for sure.
I was watching this. Yeah, I was all the church kids trying to be rebel, but I was watching this little YouTube video. And this guy was talking about this Greek guy who would try to instigate people by doing things that were kind of culturally, dress weird or whatever. So that he wasn't worried about like what people thought about him, and that way he just wasn't thinking about it. So I like to think that maybe I was just ahead of my time.
Diogenes?
Is that yeah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe I was just doing a little Diogenes, like showing up in my Jinkos looking ridiculous at school, and then just like I don't,
And Diogenes is like he's like epic proportions. Alexander the Great walked up and said, "I'll give you anything you want," and he said, "How about you get out of my sun?" Because he was tanning in the sun.
Yeah.
That guy has so many quotes.
Oh, yeah. What was his name?
Diogenes.
Diogenes. I like Diogenes.
Alexander the Great loved him, but Diogenes did not care that Alexander the Great existed.
I love that. Like the most powerful man on earth. And he's like, "Hey, bro, you're blocking the sun, man, trying to get a tan."
Alexander said, "Yeah, if I were not, I would love to be Diogenes if I were not Alexander the Great.
Wow.
Which is also pretty cock strong. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
bro, I had the Jinkos and I was like trying to evangelize the whole school. So
you were ministering
I would
to people?
use Sharpies and draw like skateboarders on my pants and write Bible verses and try to
you
like
were doing the art even back then.
go up to I would go up to people and be like, if you died today.
Oh,
And God said, why should I let you into my heaven? Like the whole thing.
dang, you'd hit him hard.
I really apparently did not want anybody to like me. But I made it work. I still got friends from high school.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Sometimes I even to this day feel like I'm ministering to people when I'm bartending, and like I don't hit them with the, if you died today, where would you go? There's no way I could go that deep. But sometimes dude, I'll do
spreading the light, spreading the love, man. That's important.
Bro, the weirdest thing, the thing that I do to people on the regular that throws them off guard the most is to tell them I love them. I'll just throw it in there randomly. I'll be like, oh yeah, all right, man, see you later. Love you. And it totally I'll be like, what? I love you too.
I'll do that sometimes with people there's a lot of people I say it to, but some people not very often. Just, different relationships are different, but maybe I get off the phone with my mom. And then you talk to somebody else that you never say I love you to, and you're like, love you, and you're like, yeah, I do. I'm gonna go now. You don't have to say it back.
I have a hard time saying it. It's like, I have to actually like you, because if you say it to me and I don't like you, I'm like, I don't know, bro.
Jonathan, I will never tell you that I love you.
I'm like, I don't really like you, bro.
We can't hang out.
we can't hang out. So, guys, Zach's being real passive aggressive with this "I love you" shit.
He said something that was, I can never trust him again.
He's a real snake in the grass.
Oh man,
You doing any paintings, Caleb?
I have not been painting as much as I should. I've got some commission work that I'm going to be working on, and so it's part of my New Year's stuff. I'm making some changes, doing an alcohol fast. I'm feeling good.
How long are you going for?
At least 30 days, maybe indefinitely. I mean, it just doesn't seem to be very productive habit.
Totally agree.
It's really not been hard, other than that I'm just used to, like, things get slow, like, grab a cold beer. And
yeah. Oh yeah. Sure.
So there's been a couple times that I've kind of briefly thought about it. I'm like, I feel good. Like, I'm sleeping well.
Yeah.
Is
that what you noticed initially is sleeping better?
Yeah. And just like,
bro, when I was drinking a lot, man, my sleep was horrible, dude. I would go to bed hammered at, 3, 4 in the morning to whatever. And then you wake up at like 7, just ding up, and you have not gotten any quality sleep at all, but you're completely awake. And
and then that bad cycle is like, you're tired, you make it through work, you feel stressed out, and you're almost like, okay, do I not drink tonight? Or then you're like, well, you get all those sudden calories and then alcohol, and all of a sudden you feel okay again, but now you're going to sleep like crap and feel bad again.
Dude, there's so many triggers for that, man. Like when I quit smoking cigarettes when I was, 19, 20 years old, when I quit smoking cigarettes, and I realized that driving my car was the biggest trigger. And I would get in my car, and I had the little vent windows, that you could just like open up real easy, and it wasn't a crazy wind, and you could smoke right, ash your cigarette right out there. And man, it took me months of struggling with driving and not smoking cigarettes. It was a big deal. But once I got over it, you get through 2, 3, 4 months of not doing it, you start to really make gains. You really are like, man, I don't miss this much at all.
So I was also kind of saying, like, the part of the thing with like the alcohol fast and all is like, what am I doing in my free time? And I noticed like last summer or last spring, whatever, maybe it was the summer before, I moved into my new place and was kind of doing the same thing then. And it really made a lot of difference because, I get home in the evenings, it's like I have a free evening. I'm like, man, I'm going to work on this painting. Because as soon as I crack open a beer, I'm not doing any art.
Really?
Like, alcohol and the painting, it doesn't, like, they're two sides of my brain that doesn't work together.
Yeah.
So I want to learn to better manage and be a better steward of my own time and my own gifts
Yeah, for sure. And
that's kind of interesting too, because you're like you're actually being forced to like sacrifice something to get, like your art to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of an interesting concept.
that's a very interesting concept. And if people do want to see some of your artwork, Caleb, where can they see that at?
You can go to calebburgess.com.
Okay.
Also Redbeard Studios Tulsa on Instagram.
On Instagram. Yeah, you got some good stuff up there.
Got a lot of art. I've got a lot of art for sale.
Nice.
So contact me if you're interested. I take some commissions, but would prefer to sell my original work.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. I mean, I'm sure the commission game is not near as fun as just selling your own artwork, what you love to do. What was it, 6 months ago or so, you started a pretty cool jiu-jitsu painting.
I did a little one, and I didn't finish it, but I want to do a series of them.
That would be
I've
really
got some
cool,
plans
man.
for that.
You're so good at drawing the human body. I mean, that is definitely one of your talents.
He started out as a Disney caricature.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been drawing and
but
painting since I was a kid, but when I moved to California and I was working in that gym, some friends came to visit from Oklahoma, and we went to Disneyland and California Adventures next door, and there were people doing the caricatures, and I stopped and asked the lady, I was like, "Are y'all hiring?" She's like, "Yeah." And so I came in and brought my portfolio, and they hired me. And
on the spot, really?
Well, yeah, I came back a couple of days later, and it wasn't great money, but it was fun. But I did get to, because I never went to art school, but I got to learn a lot of things about portraiture, especially that I had never picked up before, and it definitely changed the course of my ability to draw and paint. I also I worked at California Adventures and in Disneyland, but in Disneyland we worked in New Orleans Square. If you've ever been to Disneyland, it's like everything's like 1700s, like women walking around in big poofy dresses with little umbrellas, and so when I worked there, I had to wear these ridiculous corduroy pants and this apron and these big puffy like pirate sleeve shirt. And
oh my God, tell me there's a picture of this somewhere.
Oh, I don't know if there's a picture of me in it, but
goodness,
and I was like real heavy and out of shape at the time. And so what they do is they take you into this big warehouse, a giant warehouse. Like, first of all, you go to Disney, you don't see everything. It's all underground, and you go underground, you go through a tunnel, you hop on a train, you go somewhere else, and you're like, what is going on here?
Wow.
It's wild. And this warehouse is massive, and it's full of all the costumes. Like all the costumes, they have all the costumes in all the sizes. So they're like hitting the button and this thing's going around, and you're seeing like, just here's 1,000 Goofy costumes, not 1,000, a whole bunch of the different
and all the
caricatures. And then they're like, oh, here's your ridiculous costume. And I'm like, there's no way they're going to have one that's big enough for my fat ass. But they did. They had some. Yeah. And they're they're just like, I'm like, keep going. Things are going by. And it was crazy, man. It was a fun little experience.
That's hilarious.
There's a lot of people probably around the U.S. and in the world with some weird drawings of their kids that I did.
That you did?
Yeah, I did one for Anna Nicole Smith and her son. Yeah. And she was trying to like unzip her top, and she was on some kind of drugs.
All of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
All of them.
It was shortly before she died. She did not look well.
Wow. You were in the belly of the beast out there in California.
Almost got sucked into that Hollywood.
Would you ever go back
to California?
Yeah.
I mean, my dad's out there. It's great because you can go to the beach, the mountains, like it's all.
Yeah, it has.
But
everything.
the traffic and the cost of living, like, there's probably other places.
No doubt. I feel the same way. I don't think I would go. It would take a lot for me to go back to California.
Yeah.
I did see a thing where it was showing like all the states that like people moved out of last year.
Oh my.
And then moved where they went. And it was kind of wild. It's like 350,000 people went to Texas.
Bro, Texas, Oklahoma absolutely have blown up. I mean, my parents' neighborhood, pretty much the entire neighborhood has flipped within the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're talking sold within the first week listing, 20 grand over the market value or over the listing price.
Do you think the housing here is going to become unaffordable from people like?
Yeah, they snatched everything up
out of like Los Angeles and New York and stuff with all these crazy restrictions.
We won't be. I don't think we'll be quite as bad, but we're already. I mean, rent is already going through the roof. There's no way around that.
Everybody, New York lost the most people, but most of them went to South Carolina.
Really?
Yeah. But then like California, they went to Arizona, Texas, but Nevada. Actually, Las Vegas had a lot of people move to Las Vegas for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, bro, Joe Rogan brought a lot of California with him to Austin,
He convinced everybody Texas was the place.
Bro, he got everyone to come to Austin, man. It is popping down there.
I don't know. I think I'd always like to have a place in Tulsa. I mean, I like Tulsa. I don't know if I was going to live somewhere else, if I would just want, like some land in Arkansas or something. Like, I don't know. Financially, I'm not at a place to do all that right now.
Yeah,
so.
That's how I feel, though. I would like to have just some land, something out in the middle of nowhere, and a house in the
somewhere
city.
To have a campfire.
Yeah, man.
Set up a deer stand,
some well water.
Y'all can come to the house.
Jonathan's
we're gonna be there.
Set up, man. We need
make
to
it
get
all
out
day.
there.
Do some cooking.
We need to get out. Yeah, can we grill out there?
Oh yeah, dude.
You got it hooked up?
I got a grill.
All right, dude. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man. We're gonna build us a fire pit and all that stuff. Of course, we just got unpacked, but we're gonna get all that stuff going. Shoot the bows, all that stuff.
That'll be good, man. I haven't shot a bow in a long time, and
man,
I'm ready to.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I have a really nice flat bow. This guy from Alabama
Really?
made for me when I had my art studio over at 42nd Memorial. There was a guy, and I can't remember his website. I wish I could give him a shout out. I don't know if he's doing it anymore, but he sent this beautiful bow. The thing was probably $700-800 to this guy. The guy said there was a scratch on the finish, and so he sent it back. And I mean, he had to point out where it was, and I was like, you can't even tell. The first time you take that thing in the woods.
Yeah.
So he sold it to me for like $200.
What?
Yeah, the thing's like a 70-pound draw flat bow, and
So
beautiful.
not a recurve. It's just
No.
a flat bow. Is that like an English long bow kind of?
It's an American style flat bow, so it's more traditional native.
Wow. Can't
yeah.
wait to shoot that. That'd be
It's
cool.
great. I've actually never shot a compound bow.
Really?
Yeah,
I'd
like to. I mean,
Bro, it's the way to go.
yeah,
they're
Trust
cool.
me.
They're cool for sure, man. I mean, recurves are cool too, though, man. I mean, I grew up shooting a recurve bow.
Yeah.
And they're fun, man. I mean, I was talking to Caleb and I's coach not too long ago, and he was saying he was wanting to shoot a bear with a recurve bow. Dude,
People do it, man, but that's like you gotta be.
Well, you gotta have someone with the AR right next to you, just in case. But I mean, I was like, dang, dude, strong play, recurve bow.
I actually got was the guy's name Mike Bear or something? There was a famous bear hunter from like Michigan, and I was driving over towards Cleveland, Oklahoma one day, and there were some people on the side of the road. This guy had a recurve bow like covered in gray spray paint, and I was like, "Hey man," I looked over, it looked decent. I was like, "How much for that?" He's like, $20.
What?
So I took it home and like carefully stripped it all down, refinished it. Yeah, it's this beautiful like I don't know, all the bear and deer hunters out there probably like know what I'm talking about. It's a nice little bow. But,
dude, I'd like to do some hunting. Either way, man. You got the land for it, huh, Jonathan?
Yeah. But like my compound bow, it's 241 feet per second, bro. You might as well have a gun.
Bro, even those you were building back in the day PVC bows, and those things were little rocket ships.
Oh yeah, they're
weren't
pretty
they?
cool. Yeah,
They can get after it, right?
Yep. Oh yeah. I still got a few around. My son's got one. He's
Really?
Oh yeah. Well, it's I made it dressed it up like a snake skin.
Can he shoot it?
No, it's still he can pull it back though. He's
Really?
Yeah.
How old is he? 5?
He's almost 4. He'll be 4 in the end of this month.
He's got to be. He's a big boy though. He's in the 90th percentile, huh? Of
His head size, yeah.
I wonder where he got that from.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, he's been in like the 95th and 99th percentile on head size since he was born.
he's already like a size 10 hat.
Yeah, just so you know, Jonathan cannot find hats.
No,
all of his hats are custom.
Special order hats.
I think when I was like 500 pounds and my head was huge, I had a hat that fit Jonathan.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude.
It doesn't look abnormal though.
Well,
Well, when you have the beard, it doesn't look too
here's the thing.
abnormal.
It's just muscle, guys. There's just a lot of muscle on the side. I don't know if you've seen me chew before, but
Oh man, you look like that character. What was it in Mars Attacks or whatever? The big brain guy.
yeah.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, man. Tonight at jiu-jitsu, me and Caleb had some rolls. It was rough, dude. Caleb almost choked the shit out of me.
I did.
Yeah,
Almost.
man. Yeah,
Why didn't you?
I'm too nice.
Just being too nice.
I used to have this football coach every day. He would come up to me and he was like, "Catlett, you got to get mean out there, son." And I'd be like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You got to get meaner." And I was like, "You want me to kill him, coach?" He's like, "Yeah, get him."
Yeah, you never seemed like you had too much of a problem being mean when you needed to.
Well,
you're a pretty soft guy, though. I mean, it takes a lot to get you mean.
You almost can't get me mean because the problem is that I will beat you.
Yeah.
The only issue is that I have a never ending one up thing.
Yeah.
So if you want to take it there, I will promise you I'll go further.
The only thing that's never ending is, or the only thing you don't have that's never ending is the gas tank.
Yeah.
The thing was though, when I started as all white belts, I'm still white belt, but I was spazzy, and
Yes.
being a big guy, injured a couple people and had to learn to calm down.
Yeah.
And so I want to take care of my training partners.
Dude,
You
I
advised
actually,
me.
Yes, I did. I really noticed tonight when we were rolling, like you weren't spazzing around. You were stopping. You were finding your grips. You were looking for the sweep. You weren't like going crazy. There was a couple times where you went a little crazy, but you were just trying to get me off of you.
Yeah.
And it was a hellacious roll, man. There was like this one time where Caleb like came up and almost stood up, and I was like trying to like wrestle him like a bear pretty much, and he just like boom slammed me right on the ground, dude. Like there's nothing I could do about it. And I thought for a second that I could like judo throw him to the mat, and I ended up face planting myself. It was good though. It was good times.
It was nice, man. I hadn't been training that much. Kind of been focusing more on recovery and taking a little bit of break. I've been doing cardio, like running the sled. I'm not doing full sled workouts, though, so that didn't count. I'm running the sled some, but doing a lot of cardio. I was wiped out. I mean, it's not the same.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, this Saturday, Sunday, big dog.
Those sled workouts are different. I have not been doing full sled workouts.
Do you know why it's not the same though? Because I don't care how much sled you do, it's still not the same.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Tell me, Jonathan.
So anytime you get into a situation where it's like combat related,
Yeah.
your brain has to start firing off faster. You got to start thinking.
Yeah.
And so it's
problem solving.
Yeah, and so it doesn't matter how good a shape you're in. I mean, it helps, right? So all you're doing is like helping that situation by getting your heart in shape. But the problem is your brain goes into like panic because you're fighting, and so it's going to elevate your heart rate more and more. It's sucking the oxygen out, trying to think about the problems, and so it's just because you're thinking, and that's why I like all that old like woo-saw martial arts stuff is like relax into it. That's what Bruce Lee was always on about, because if you can figure out how to relax more and stay violent, you're going to win. That's that tunnel vision thing.
Yeah, that is, huh?
So that's what I was saying. Like, it's really hard to get me mad because, I mean, I used to bounce a lot and stuff, and these guys, we get in fights constantly. So at some point, you get a little numb to it. And so if I don't tunnel vision and you do, I already won.
Yeah, that's true, huh?
And if you get mad and start tunnel vision, it's over for you. And so if you fight a guy in an MMA fight or whatever, and you're like amped up, the guys that like go in the ring and just like go
punching themselves in the
I
face.
always assume they're about to lose.
Yeah, I mean, and I would like to see statistics on that. If people are like jumping around, hitting themselves in the face, and like getting crazy amped, how many times those people?
I think they have a window, like in the initial part of the fight.
Catch you.
Well, they'll catch you with something, but for the most part, like what's Rose? What's her last name?
Namajunas.
Yeah, I can't say it, but when you can tell, like she kind of has mastered that. Like,
the Zen.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You've seen her at the stare
Stone
downs, dude.
Cold. Yeah, those stare downs are epic,
bro. They're epic, man. Like I can't remember the last chick's name, but she was like all up in her face, man, getting crazy, and Rose was just like repeating the Lord's Prayer or something.
Well, I always watch them right when they step into the ring.
Yeah,
that's the most important part to me.
That's the moment.
That's when I start judging them hard.
That's the moment where you saw Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo, and you saw all the stress on Aldo's face, man.
Because the stare down's a show, right? So Conor McGregor's the master.
Conor was
of that
a showman, dude. Yeah, for sure.
But when you step into the ring and they have to look at each other for that first time, that's when I know, like, oh, I can see it. And Rose, though, it don't matter. She's just like stone cold killer on her face.
When you were doing MMA fights, did you have that same calmness? Did you ever have an adrenaline dump or anything like that messed you up, or were you able to just stay calm and execute?
Well, and when I first started out, it was full adrenaline. Like I remember I fought a guy. He had a 76-pound weight advantage on me.
Why? Oh, because you were heavyweight?
Yeah, but we were in a tournament. He was actually supposed to be super heavyweight, but it was like he was the only one that showed up for that. Like that size, because it was in a big tournament, so they let him fight in the heavyweight.
Oh,
and he just destroyed guys, right?
Yeah,
and so
crushed them.
I won like 2 or 3 fights, and then I just watched him just like murder people. And so it's me and him, right? This is the end of the tournament, and I was pretty nervous. Yeah. And so I ran out, and I was like, I'm just going to do something to throw him off, and I did a flying knee, right?
Ooh, nice.
Well, I was so, I guess, scared that I jumped so high, my knee went over this 6'4" guy's head.
You jumped over him?
My knee was over his head.
Oh, wow.
So I like flew through the air. He grabs
adrenaline.
me, throws me down, and I did beat him, though. But
you really?
Yeah,
nice.
But he did rough me up pretty bad.
You know those jiu-jitsu videos where the guy's like doing cartwheels over each other and backflip, like, instead of passing guard, they're like, I'm just going to backflip over you. Yeah. I tried to cartwheel over Brady the other night. I almost pulled it off.
Really?
Well, because, I've been doing yoga and stuff, and I'm like, hey.
Combat yoga.
Combat yoga. Yeah. Way to get my chakras aligned and cartwheel past your guard.
Oh, my God, man.
The Mars was in retrograde that night.
I'm not sure what that was like for him, but yeah, there's definitely some.
Oh, that's hilarious
and
somewhat terrifying at the same time, man. If you start cartwheel passing people, like, that's gonna
highlight reels,
man.
Me and Caleb went to a capoeira class a long time ago.
Oh man, my core was so weak at the time, and I didn't know, because I was like, I do a little kickboxing, I do this, but I didn't have really any core strength, so. It was like a 4-hour capoeira class, and all we were doing was basic stuff. But I basically had a 4-hour core workout, and I couldn't move for like 3 days after that. I was dead.
I mean, bro, if you execute one of those capoeira kicks and you get it, I mean, that person's gonna have a hard time.
But if you don't,
yeah, you're done, dude. You're done.
I was like 24 and 265. It was probably a little easier to move.
How Jonathan did it. He just dominated.
I don't even remember him being there. I was so sore. I forgot he went with me.
That was back when I was like in my bodybuilding days. So I was in like pretty good shape.
Killer shape.
Well,
like,
and I
will murder everyone here.
And I spent my younger years like all karate, martial arts. So acrobatics were kind of my thing.
Not anymore.
No. I could probably do them, but there's my knee, like I just don't want to live the rest of my life limping.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's very true. Do you think we'll ever see you in a gi training jiu-jitsu at any point in time?
If I had time, I'd go do it right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
I just don't have time.
Get this man some time.
I need some time.
Get this man some
Stat.
time.
Money, time, whatever.
Get on the Discord, get this man some time and some encouragement to jump in the gi and train some jiu-jitsu.
I'll do it. I will.
Looking forward to it.
It'd be great to see you out there on the mats, get some rolling in, and also helping people get strong.
Oh yeah.
Because one thing we're definitely trying to do is start hitting some sort of seminars and doing a little pitch on the balance boards and the different equipment that we have that can help you with bulletproofing your knees and getting you strong enough to where you can compete and have longevity in the sport.
Yeah, especially with the combat sports, like grip strength is everything, and that's everything we do. And this stuff's almost designed for combat sports.
Totally.
And when I was a kid, I went to a karate class, and this guy was a really incredible teacher. He told stories as you were going through like your workouts.
Wow.
It was really neat. He was a Japanese guy. And, it was just a really neat class. So we had these like clay pots that were filled with sand or concrete or whatever, and they had kind of a big lip mouth on them. Mm-hmm. So just big enough for you to get your fingertips around. And he would make us grab them. We would do these certain kind of walks, kind of like a lunge as you're holding these pots out to the side, and you're kind of twisting your upper body and doing this lunge, and we would walk around the building, around the room.
Wow.
And he would tell this story, and he had this really cool story about this kung fu master, right, in Japan or wherever. and he was traveling up the Mountain of Thieves, and it was known not to go there because you're going to get robbed for sure. Because there's a whole, it was like a whole community of thieves that lived there. And what they did is they only trained their grip so they could snatch like they carried little coin purses on their hips or whatever.
Snatch your purse.
Yep.
Purse snatchers.
And he thought, I am the Kung Fu master, so I'm going to go up the mountain anyways. There's nothing they can do about it.
Right.
And they tore him limb from limb, literally, because he tried to fight him, and they just started tearing body parts off.
Because they were so strong, they had that hand strength.
Yeah, their grip was so strong, they're just literally tearing the muscles off of him. So then he didn't show up where he's supposed to go, and the school comes to find him, and they find him on the side of the road, and he's literally torn to pieces. And so the whole school goes, and they're like, we're going to go take him out, and they run up the mountain, and that martial art no longer exists because they went to fight the community of thieves, and those thieves had no interest in martial arts. It was just training the grip.
Yeah.
But once someone's grip is that strong, I don't care what you know. There's nothing you can do.
Are you sure the thieves didn't practice Ameridote?
I don't think so, buddy. That's some new technology.
Okay.
Oh man, Ameridote. Who is that? What was his name?
Master Ken.
Bro, Master Ken pissed me off, man. I'm like Master Ken, dude. Like the last thing we need in this world is more dick jokes. Like, come on, dude, chill out. I don't know. It's like the first time I went to go see Talladega Nights, or I'm sorry, the first time I went to see The Anchorman. I thought it was the worst movie of all time when he started talking to the bear at the end, and like I literally got up and was like, "This is the most horrible movie I've ever seen in my entire life."
You know, like the old school comedians would go around and just do their same bit all over the country, and you know, things have changed a little bit different.
But the second time I watched it, I thought it was the most hilarious movie I'd ever seen. I laughed hysterically. I guess I was just in the wrong mood for Master Ken.
So do you think you might like it better? Did you? Yeah, you went to the...
Yeah, I was there. We had, just so everyone knows, we just had a
Hanato
Tavares seminar at Triton Fight Center, and Master Ken showed up and did his whole little bit, but it was basically just dick jokes and funny little poses and yelling at people. It was weird, but I gotta give Master Ken props because the dude is jacked.
Yeah,
he's got great arms on him, and he is not missing any workouts. That's for sure.
He's like a full-on movie star now.
Is he?
Yeah, they had I can't remember the show now, but they had like this martial arts show. It was on Netflix, and he was like he was kind of like the dojo instructor, and he was a total dork. So he's like a karate nerd, like super into the kung fu or whatever. Yeah. And so these three guys like grew up and they were acting normal. They were being like dads and stuff, and they had to like fight out this situation. I can't remember the name of the movie, but anyways, Master Ken was like the nerd when they were kids, and then he ended up being the dojo teacher, so he's still the nerd.
Maybe if we get Master Ken back at Triton, I'll be like, Master Ken, you want to come on the podcast?
Absolutely.
That would be hilarious, man. That'd be a good one.
I remember being a kid and going to see the movie Three Ninjas in the theater.
Oh, man.
I was waiting for months. I was so excited. I came home, started, like cut out construction paper, ninja stars, and get out on the trampoline, start throwing them at my sister. And,
yeah, man. Rocky loves Emily.
Oh man, my sisters want me to come to a taekwondo class with her for a little guest.
Your sister trains taekwondo?
She does taekwondo. She's working on getting her black belt. They've been at it for a few years. Her and her kids.
Wow,
so I'm proud of them. They stick with it. I would love to see them do jiu-jitsu at some point. I might go.
Yeah, man.
Go over there, check it out. Have some fun.
Go over there and beat everyone up. They need to train
people.
jiu-jitsu.
It was a little lighter than that.
Y'all don't train takedowns? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I don't know that they appreciate that kind of contact.
Yeah, that's true.
Not for everybody. Grappling is not for everybody.
I've been trying to go back and forth on whether I want to put my kid in taekwondo or like wrestling right now, because he's almost 4, and so because I'm trying to figure out what type of movement I want him doing.
Yeah, and
I'm almost leaning towards taekwondo a little bit for a couple years, and then he's definitely going straight into wrestling. But
man, the things I like about wrestling is that it makes you incredibly tough. I mean, dude, there's so many wrestler guys where I'll put them in a really bad position where other people would be like, you know, spazzing or flailing or trying to get out. And the wrestler's just like, bro, this is all you got? Like, you're trying to make me uncomfortable here? Like, it's not going to work. And they're going to get to their feet because they're unbelievably good at getting to their feet.
Yeah.
And they're strong. And, I mean, it teaches tenacity. And if you've been a wrestler for a long time, you're already way ahead of the curve in jiu-jitsu.
It makes you super strong.
Super strong. Man.
What type of wrestling does Khabib do?
Bear.
Man, yeah.
Bear wrestling.
Kazakhstani bear wrestling, bro. Are you kidding me, man? I mean, no, I think he does Sambo, right?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that was his thing. Sambo, which is like, it's like a gi, it's like a sleeveless gi, right? And then shorts.
Honestly, can't tell you the difference.
It's the Oklahoma winter garb.
The Oklahoma winter. Either way,
Oklahoma vertical.
Either way, man, Khabib is, you know, next level wrestler, and he absolutely shows it when he fights and, you know, dominates people, takes them to the ground, locks them up, and submits them.
Yeah, I think wrestling, especially for like the kids, that's like an unbelievable foundation.
Yeah, man, it's probably the best thing you can do for mental toughness. I mean, especially if you have a good coach. You know?
Well, but they can make money off that. I mean, they get their college paid for. They can make money off that. They're going to be strong. They're going to be fast. It's like everything that you kind of need your kid doing.
Well, but you know what? Okay, so interesting point on that. Strong, fast, you know, flexible, all these different things. I think one of the best things you could do is put them in gymnastics.
I was about to say that too.
Yeah. Gymnastics. I mean,
it depends on what you're wanting from the kid, what the kid wants to do. But I don't think my kid that's going to be the path.
Yeah, that's true.
I think I only did it for like 6 months or a year when I was like 5. But it definitely helped pave the way for better mobility. Even as a kid, when I got heavier, like I wish I had, you know, stayed more active in sports, but. You know, kind of like even as a bigger kid, it's like I could move better than a lot of other kids.
Yeah.
You know, and
even still to this day, you can. I mean, it definitely helps. But I get you.
I still move better than most kids.
I mean,
every time I wrestle them, it's like I should probably stop going to the kids class. Thomas told me.
Totally dominate them. But yeah, I think wrestling would probably be good for your son, man. He's
incredibly aggressive.
Is he?
Oh
yeah. He definitely.
It's that big head, man.
Yep. Yeah, he actually throws a pretty good punch. So I don't know whether I taught him that or was born with it. But he's already
probably a little bit of both.
It's a straight ahead, and it's pretty.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude.
He's telegraphing it, huh?
No, like straight ahead. Like he's got a good solid. You know, forearms are straight and everything.
Is he a righty or a lefty?
Both.
What?
He's ambidextrous. Yeah.
So where do you learn this punch? You've been watching.
I punch him a lot. No, but I remember kind of like.
I learned this from you, Dad.
Yeah, I do actually remember kind of correcting him a couple times, and he must have just really took to it because usually he ignores everything I say.
Right.
But he's like,
this is useful.
Yeah, he took that one.
Oh, man.
Is he showing any other aptitude other than a nice punch?
Yeah, he's pretty smart. I mean, surprisingly, because I don't know where he got that from. But no, his memory is really good. He remembers like every single place that has donuts or any kind of candy he's ever been and stuff like that. But no, he just physically he's just really aggressive, and he kind of loves to wrestle, and he's very sociable. He doesn't meet a stranger, and I think especially something like wrestling for a kid like him who wants to like. Every kid that he meets he calls him friend.
Really?
All of them.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So everyone's his friend, and if you're too old to be his friend, you're just a guy.
Is that before he beats him up?
Yeah. Well, so when he was real young, he got kicked out of daycare for biting, and the thing is all the kids bite in daycare, but the teacher came to us and was like, "Listen, they all bite, but his is particularly aggressive, and he's drawing blood."
You're like,
yeah.
I don't know where he got that.
It felt like a my bad situation. Like
I'm sorry, I gave him this genetics.
Yeah, he's already got a hairy back.
How's at the moon? I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, we haven't cut his hair yet because we're just kind of trying to leave him as
his hair is long. He's
like
a little
Samson.
Tarzan.
Yeah, they're like,
if you really want to picture it, it's like the animal from the Muppets. That's like him. He just
he's gonna be a beast, man, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, We're about an hour and 10 minutes in.
Yeah, you guys got anything else you want to add? We're looking forward to this weekend. We're looking forward to the workouts noon, 41st and Riverside.
Yep, come out and see us.
Saturday and Sunday. Go check out the Strength Emporium sale. Go check out Caleb's artwork. Please continue to leave comments on the videos, subscribe to the channel, and we're going to keep pumping out content. We really appreciate it, guys. We'll see you this weekend.